Hello everybody, this is Freddy from Turn Vertical, and in today's video I want to show you how to scale up your Facebook ads. I'm going to give you the exact campaign setup that I use, or that we use to scale up the ads. I'm going to show you what you need to pay attention for and all the kind of fun stuff. So I'd say let's get right into it. So first things first, how does the scaling campaign look like? Few questions to answer, CBO or ABO. 100% of the cases we go for CBO. CBO simply outperforms ABO, especially if you're scaling up. In 99% of instances you want to go for CBO. Then budget. What types of budget should you use? Ideally, this depends on the amount of ad sets that you're using, but ideally so that you can get at least 50 purchases per week. That would be your average CPA times 50, and then divided by 7, and that's your daily budget, and that's what you should put in there. If you have less budget, it's not ideal, but it can definitely still work. You obviously want to work your way up. If your AV is like 50, or your CPA is $50, then 50 times 50 is like 2,500. 2,500 divided by 7 is like 300-ish, 325-ish per day, I think. So obviously that's pretty high, especially if you're just starting out. So you can definitely work with less, but obviously you want to scale up as fast as possible to that desired 50 purchases per week. Then the next thing, the bidding model. Especially if you're just starting out, I recommend you just do lowest cost. You don't change anything, on Facebook side of things. I have a video about cost cap, when to use cost cap, and I should be avoiding cost cap. I have it linked right here, right now. So if you want to take a look at this as well, I highly recommend you do. But this is maybe more advanced, especially if, this is more for if you already have winning campaign, if you have winning ads, etc. Then how does the ad set setup look like? And that is also super simple. We have one ad set in our scaling campaigns, and that is broad. We don't use lookalikes anymore. We don't use any interest targeting. We just use broad. And the reason for that is that broad gives you, first of all, the best ability. It has the biggest audience possible. And it lets your creative do your targeting. And that's basically what you want. Automatic placements, all genders, like open age range, very few exclusions. If we use exclusions, we use like 30-day purchases, but that's about it. Just went over the last point. But again, automatic placements, open age range, like 1865 plus, men, women, automatic placements, again, went over that as well. And then for the attribution window, this depends on a little bit on the budget that you have and how many purchase data you're getting. The most pure form of data, you will get that from when they click, right? Because there's only people who click with, when they click, when they view, but there's, that's only giving you the rows of the CPAs, basically the purchases credited to people who clicked, within the last 24 hours on one of your ads. And that's obviously the purest form of data that you can get. But, if you are spending anywhere, even like less than 1,000 per day, and, it might be that your purchase cycle is maybe a bit more than one day. If you go to Google Analytics and then like e-commerce and then like time path, and then you can see how many days it takes a person on average for them to make a purchase. That's longer than one. If you're spending lower or less than 1K per day, I highly recommend that you still choose 7-day 1-day view, 7-day click 1-day view. The reason for that is obviously it gives you a little bit of flawed data. Facebook will take some more purchases than they should be taking, but this also gives the algo more data, so Facebook can get smarter faster, and that's what you want at the start. If you're spending like 5-10K per day, then it might be good to switch to see what the real value of like Facebook is. But anywhere below that, I would probably recommend that you use 7-day click 1-day view. But if you have like a product which is like a $5 AV, like a $2.50 CPA, obviously it makes sense to use 1-day click. But if you're anywhere like in the middle, like in the norm of a normal D2C brand, then it probably makes sense to use 7-day click 1-day view. And then how many ads should you be using? That's probably the last thing which I want to go over, and that is depending on whether you use like CBO or Advantage Plus. If you have Advantage Plus, forgot that, but if you have Advantage Plus, use Advantage Plus. We've seen phenomenal results with Advantage Plus. So if you have access to it, I recommend you use it. And within an Advantage Plus campaign, we recommend anywhere from like 5 to 7 ads. And if you're using like a normal CBO campaign, I recommend like between 3 to 5 ads. So basically, these ads should all be proven winners. You know, you should have them, you should have tested them in your scaling campaign, and then you should have moved them in here, right? And basically how you do that is by choosing the post ID. So if you don't know how to choose the post ID, I have a separate video about that, which I'll link right here. But essentially it's basically the unique identifier of a certain post, and when you copy the post ID, you know, Facebook keeps all of the social proof, all of the comments, etc. And then how to scale is super simple. Just every like 24 to 48 hours, you simply increase the budget of that, you know, campaign by, you know, 10 to 20%. And that's basically how you scale. You know, you don't need to overcomplicate it. That's all you need. 10 to 20%, excuse my bad handwriting, but 10 to 20%, that's all you need to increase. And then you would say out of the learning phase, Facebook is, you know, is more stable. And, you know, that gets me to what should be your goal. And your goal, you know, when it comes to scaling your ads, should also be obviously, you know, good ROAS, or like being above your target CPA, but it should also be stability, right? It doesn't help anybody if like within 1 week you're getting like $20 CPAs, and then the next week you're getting like $40 CPAs, right? Your goal should be stability and growth, right? Stability and scale, in my opinion, as long as you're above target CPA. So to get visibility, you better make sure that you don't scale up too fast, because then, you know, you can lose stability. But you also want to make sure that you don't scale too slow, because then you can't really grow. If you grow like 5% each week, you know, that doesn't help anybody. Obviously, if you're spending like below 100 per day, you can definitely have faster jumps. But, you know, when you're spending more than 1,000 per day, if you want to focus on that stability, you know, make sure 24 to 48 hours, 10 to 20%. You know, start by slowly increasing every 48 hours by 10%, maybe for the first 2 to 3 days. See if your CPA holds steady. And then, you know, you can be a little bit more aggressive. But again, don't overdo it. You want stability and growth, right? But yeah, that's the most simple setup that you could use, and that's the best setup that you can use to scale your Facebook ads. If you're doing anything else, I recommend you to try out this, you know, use Broad, try it out. And yeah, that's about it. I hope this video helped you with scaling your Facebook ads, and talk to you in the next video. Bye.